Hello dear students, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. I hope all of you are well by the grace of Almighty Allah. I also hope that you have started your studies afresh and new with the beginning of the new year 2021. Actually, it is a long time since we are deprived of the opportunity of sitting inside the classroom. So we have to carry on our studies staying at home. If possible, try to watch all the classes that are downloaded in our college websites and YouTube. Let us start our today's class. All of you are quite well aware that in our last class, we went through some rules on how to change assertive sentences from direct to indirect. In fact, it's going to be the third class on speech or narration, whatever you say. And today, we are going to go through some rules on how to change interrogative sentence from direct to indirect. So let me write first the title, speech or narration. Today's topic is speech or narration, and we will go through the rules of changing sentences that is related to interrogative sentence. Actually, interrogative sentences. Actually, we can make questions in two ways. One is using WH word, and another is without the use of WH word. I mean, using only auxiliary verbs or principal verbs or both, whatever we say. Let's look at the board. If we ask a question, where did you go yesterday? If I ask, where did you go yesterday? The answer must be specific. You must mention the name of the place. For example, the answer may be, I went to Dhaka yesterday. On the other hand, we can make questions without the use of WH word. That is, have you completed your task? Here, we have made the question without the use of WH word. And here, we see a have verb, and after the subject, there is a third form of verb. And we can answer using yes or no. And if you want to add more, that yes, or yes, I have completed, or no, I haven't. Whatever you say. Now, we see that if we ask questions using WH word, we can answer specifically. We have to answer specifically, mention what is wanted, actually what is required by the question. But if we make a question without the use of WH word, we can answer the question using yes or no. So we will see these two types of questions today, how we can change these types of questions. Let me divide the board into two. Now here, if WH word are used, we cannot answer with yes or no. For example, WH words are what, where, how, who, whom, etc. On the other hand, if we ask question without the use of WH word, we can answer the question using yes or no. So here we may use am, is, are, was, were, can, may, could, have, had, etc. plus principal verb usually we use after them. So I have to repeat that there are two types of interrogative sentences. Actually, while asking questions, we use two patterns. One is with WH words, and of which we cannot answer using yes or no. Another pattern is we can make questions without the use of WH word, and in that case we can answer to those very questions using yes or no. So let us see the structure first. If we want to turn an interrogative sentence from direct to indirect, subject plus ask or asked plus object to whom the subject is asking. Object. Okay, then one thing we must keep it in mind, there is no option of using that here. Rather, when the question will be asked using WH word, we must put the WH word here. Then subject of reported speech plus verb and then object or extension. So now the structure is clear to us. First subject, then asks, ask or asks or asked. If the subject is third person singular number, actually we have to use an S or ES after the verb here, then object plus WH word plus subject of reported speech, then verb and then object or extension. And there is another pattern without the use of WH word. In that case, the structure of turning a sentence of direct speech to indirect is a little bit different. So let's see where the difference is. For example, here we have to put subject. Ask, asked plus object. Then if or whether, whether plus then subject of reported speech plus verb plus object or extension. You must keep it in mind that a direct speech may be in assertive, interrogative, imperative, optative, or exclamatory. Whatever it may be, it doesn't matter. After turning it into indirect, it will be only an assertive sentence. So, we must put a full stop at the end of every indirect speech. So, let us cite or let us show some examples. For example, direct. Rahul said to Yasin, how are you today? Here, inverted comma, close. How are you today? If we take another example, I say to Rahaman, where did you go last night? So, here we see two interrogative sentences using WH word. One is how and another is where. So, let us apply the rule. First subject, Rahul. We are turning them into indirect, okay. Rahul, as it is in past tense, asked. Rahul asked Yasin. As per the rule, we have to put the WH word without any change. Yasin, how? Now, the subject of reported speech here, you. We must keep it in mind that if we find first person in reported speech, it indicates subject and you indicates object. So, here you means Yasin. As we have mentioned Yasin by name, now we have to use a pronoun for the noun Yasin. How? He, and R will be turned into was. Today means today will be turned into the day. And a full stop will be put here as per the rule. So now it's clear to you, Rahul asked Yasin how he was that day. And now come to the second one, indirect. Here, if we want to turn the sentence or the direct speech into indirect, we have to apply the rule here also. I, as it is in past tense, asked. Asked Rahaman. Rahaman, then WH word, where. Did. If we find did in such type of sentences, we must consider this in past indefinite. That's why we have to turn the sentence into past perfect as the reporting verb is in past tense. So, past perfect is, then we have to place the subject of reported speech first, then we have to turn it in past perfect. Okay? You means Rahaman. He. Past perfect, had, and third form of verb, had gone. Where he had gone last night means the previous night or the night before. The previous night. So, we have seen two examples of interrogative sentences using WH word. Now, let's move to the next one, where we will make two questions without the use of WH words. For example, first one, if I take a direct one, direct, Abir say to Ayaz, have you ever been to Cox's Bazar? Is the first direct, and second one is Rona said to Shanu, are you well today? There are two interrogative sentences. We have used have verb or be verb, and then base form of verb or present form of verb here. I mean, here it's third form of verb, and here it functions as a principal verb, as there is no verb after the be verb are. That's why it is principal verb here. It is principal verb. Be clear. Okay. Now let us solve indirect. Indirect. If we solve it, we will get Abir asked Ayaz. Abir asked Ayaz if. We can also use whether instead of if. If, and then subject of reported speech here, you means Ayaz. If he have will be turned into had. If he had ever been to Cox's Bazar, and a full stop will be put here. And come to the solution, to the second one. It's easier than before. Runa asked Shanu, are you if she, and are will be turned into was well today is that day. A full stop. So we have seen 4 examples of interrogative sentences that we have turned from direct to indirect. In your question paper, you will find passage narrations. The sentences will be put in a continuous passage. In that case, what will happen if you find more than one or more than 2 interrogative sentences consecutively, I mean one after another. Now, we will see how we will combine those sentences or solve those problems related to more than 1 or 2 interrogative sentences in a passage. Let me erase first. I'm erasing it. Here, first one, for example, ask or asked, and then solve. First, plus again asked, then we will solve the second. As per the rule, we will solve the second one also, second interrogative. Second interrogative sentence. Then further asked, and as per the rule, we will solve the third. Interrogative sentence. So this will be the pattern how we will change, and we have seen how to change the interrogative sentences from direct to indirect. And now if more than one or more than two interrogative sentences are found, they will be connected in such a way in indirect speech. So let us take an example. Hassan said to Babu, what are you doing here at this hour? Are you well? Are you ill today? Okay, then we have to maintain the sequence. Are you ill today? Won't you go to college today? Inverted comma close. We see here three questions are asked by a single person, that is Hassan. He is asking to Babu that what are you doing here at this hour? Are you ill today? Second question. And third one, won't you go to college today? Now, according to the rule, we have to solve these sentences. Okay, if we turn them into indirect, first one, Hassan asked Babu. Here we find WH word. That's why WH word will be used here after the object without any change. What? Subject of reported speech. You means Babu. As we have mentioned Babu by name, now we have to use pronoun for Babu, that is what he. R will be turned into was, as reporting verb is in past tense, R will be turned into was. He was doing. Here will be turned into there as per the rule of indirect narration. There at this will be turned into that hour. Now subject he. He means who is asking? Hassan. We can mention in the bracket the first letter of his name. He asked again, or also asked again, are you ill today? Now here we see that here we have used a be verb as a principal verb. So as there is no WH word, we have to use if or whether. He asked again, if. You means Babu. If he. R will be turned into was ill. That today means that day. Okay, let me write it clearly. That day. Okay, now let's come to the third question. On to go to college today. Now we have to turn it also into indirect. He further asked, okay, he further asked, won't, will plus not. The contracted form of will not is won't. That's why we know that there is no WH word. That's why we have to use if or whether. He further asked, if. You means Babu. If he. Won't means will not. That will be wouldn't. That will turn into wouldn't go to college that day. Now we can see here how we can turn a sentence of interrogation, a sentence of interrogation or interrogative sentence, how we can turn an interrogative sentence from direct to indirect. Either it is detached or in passage. I think the rules will be and the rules and examples will be very beneficial for you. Go through the rules and try to understand. In my next class, actually within this limited time, it will not be possible for me to show all the rules here. Inshallah, in my next class, I will try my level best to show you the rules on how to change imperative sentences from direct to indirect. Till then, Allah Hafiz.